Welcome. My name is Daniel Cairns. I'm the Head of Enrolments here at Fourth Rev, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the session today regarding the King's College London's UX/UI Product Design Career Accelerator. We've got a fantastic panel to introduce shortly. I'm going to give a quick overview and some other housekeeping just before we do get started. This is about you, so well done on making the decision to inform yourself more regarding the options you have of the program, and it's great to see some of the names in the attendance already that have applied and will be commencing with the upcoming presentation. But this is about you as well. So whilst we have some questions for the panel, I would love it if you could lodge your questions in the Q&A function. We're going to use the chat function for a couple of questions and polls that we might have for you, or some resources that we'll post in there for your benefit. So use the Q&A function, read each other's questions if you'd like, upvote them, and I'll certainly try and prioritise those most popular ones as well. As I mentioned, though, I'll give a quick overview of the program for those that aren't fully familiar with it, and maybe even for those of you that are, there might be one or two things that you'll pick up in here before we get to the panel very, very quickly. As with all of our career accelerators, we bridge the gap between academia and industry. It's the problem that we solve as a business, and as a result of that, have enabled career impact through reimagined education. What I mean by that is we engage with industry first when designing content and couple their requirements with the very best of academic underpinnings, obviously in true collaboration with this one with King's, to ensure that the content that you digest and learn from is not only academically rigorous, which is important, but it's absolutely practical in the sense, and it's in demand from an employer perspective. So there's no exams. We don't think they're necessary, and they're not productive either. You instead, throughout the whole process or throughout the whole learning, you'll be submitting work that contributes to you building a seriously impressive portfolio, which will get you that job sooner. It's 6 months. It's completely online. It is made up of 3 courses and 1 live industry-facing project. Course 1, Understanding User Needs. Course 2, Designing for User Needs. And Course 3, User-Centered Optimization, taking you through that whole process along the way. Your learning outcomes from those 3 courses then enable your participation in that live industry-facing project. And to frame that quickly for you, yourself along with 5 or 6 other high-caliber learners will be grouped together in a team, and you'll meet with one of our industry partners, I'm pleased to say, such as the caliber of Sky and Sky Glass. They will present to you and the team a user-centered challenge or scenario in which they currently experience. And as a team, applying the learning from those first 3 courses, you'll come up with innovative and tangible solutions to that scenario, presenting your recommendations to the host company, if I can call them that, in a consultancy style presentation at the end. The benefits of that are numerous in that it's practical application of learning. It is also brilliant to network more deeply with your valued peers and also leaders of industry. And lastly, be it that you're looking to advance your existing career, change careers, or even commence your career, it's a much more powerful demonstration of your value to a prospective employer to answer the question that you're going to be asked about: what experience do you have? To say that you've worked with the likes of Sky or one of our other industry partners and demonstrate the actual challenge they presented and your recommendations is a powerful demonstration, as I mentioned, of your value and your experience in what they're seeking as well. The entry criteria is that you've completed a bachelor degree or have 2 years of professional experience. If you're unsure, do reach out to your enrolment advisor if you haven't spoken to them already. They're there to guide you through the process and enable your successful entry into the program. The 6-month career accelerator, with the full support of a professional career coach that we're going to discuss in depth shortly as well, that will get you that role sooner and get your career outcome sooner, I should say. The cost is £5,999, and we're pleased to offer a number of options for learners on that. You do get a £500 fee reduction if you do pay in full. We have 6 monthly payment plans with no fees or no interest, or there's a 24-month plan on application with our partner with StepX, enabling those payments to be spread over a longer period, subject to finance application. The next intake starts on the 10th of February onboarding. There's a 2-week onboarding period before you get into the learning, so you still do have time. We do cap our numbers to ensure that the learning experience is maintained. If we opened it up for many, many more learners around the world, it would be a case of having to have larger project teams and therefore dilute potentially your roles and responsibilities. And also we've got some coaching capacity constraints and things like that. So we do limit the numbers in which we can take at any one time. You'll have some calls to action shortly and more resources that we'll post in the chat, but I've done enough talking. I've got a whole lot more to tell you and certainly to hear from our panel about. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Elizabeth, Emma and Justin to the conversation. And I might start with Elizabeth first, if I can. Welcome everyone, but if I can start with Elizabeth, just asking you to introduce yourself to the audience as well.
Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. And I mirror what Daniel said right at the beginning. Well done in taking that first step and coming to educate yourself and learning a bit more around our programs and how it helps you achieve your career goals. I'm one of the career coaches here at Fourth Rev, but I sit within a very skilled team. So there's quite a few of us that work with you one-on-one throughout these programs to help you align your academic learning with what the job market needs, how to present yourself in the job market, but also how to, write things on your CV and help you with your confidence along that journey as well. So you can really step into, I can do this and I will do this.
That's brilliant. And looking forward to learning a whole lot more about the benefit of that, Elizabeth. I'm going to go with Emma next and leave Justin till last as a gentleman as we are. Emma, welcome. It is a delight to welcome you to the session today. Thank you. Are you able to introduce yourself, your background to the audience as well?
Yes, hi, I'm Emma, a past student of the course, and now I found a job in UX. So all thanks to this course.
I do feel that there will be a fair few questions directed your way, Emma, so I'll prioritise them, but really look forward to your insights as well. And thank you also, Justin. It's always a pleasure to catch up and to see you. Thank you for contributing to so many of these as you do, but a welcome from your good self as well.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Justin. I look after the product design course here at Fourth Rev. I helped to build it, and I also work as a facilitator for different cohorts depending on the timing. So I actually co-facilitated Emma's cohort, so it's really nice to have her on here with me. My background has been in product design and UX research for about a decade. My biggest role before joining Fourth Rev was looking after product design and research teams at BT Business in the UK. So thanks for having me.
Great panel, just quietly. Thank you all. It's a pleasure to be here with you. On to the next slide. I'll just touch on a number of the other key benefits before we get to some questions for the audience. And I guess also that the aim of the session is how to switch to a fulfilling career. So I might start off before I just go through the four things that we've got on the screen and ask the audience that if you can use the chat function. I don't mean to confuse the issue, questions in the Q&A, comments and things like that in the chat, but can I ask you to put in one of three words? And that is, the question to you is, are you looking to commence your career? Are you looking to change careers into UX, UI, product design, or are you looking to advance? So just put in there, commence, change, or advance, and it will certainly assist us tailor some of what we discuss with yourself and the majority of the audience as well. So making that successful switch, some of the key benefits, as opposed to many other programs out there, is the strength of King's. King's is globally renowned for their research in many areas, and their digital humanities attracts learners from all over the world. And in fact, I think it's this one, it might be product management. We've got a King's alumni in the US commencing with us, one and a number in South Asia, the Middle East and Europe as well, with the product management and UX programs. And that is also the benefit that King's brings to the Career Accelerator. So stand out with a meaningful certificate or certification from King's. Get personal support, build confidence and clarity, as Elizabeth mentioned, with a career coach and a success manager. You've got a great deal of support. Justin's there and his team to support. Elizabeth and the career coaches obviously support you identifying your transferable skills and highlighting your new skills. The success manager will help you with anything course related. And then there's also the facilitator as well. Industry aligned training, I touched on this earlier. The curriculum's been designed with industry experts and built that portfolio that we're really going to dive into with Emma as well. Speaking of Emma, and the next slide though, sorry, just going back one slide. Sorry, there's a question or two there that I haven't asked. And I guess the first one I have is actually for Justin regarding giving an insight into the program structure, such as the modules, project overview, or the key tools and frameworks used in the portfolio development.
Sure, yeah, I'll give you gave a bit of a summary before, so I'll break it down a bit more, maybe course by course, and talk about the main project as well. So I think first thing to state is that this is a project-based course. Of course, DC, you mentioned the employer project at the end that we do run. But before that, we have those 3 courses you mentioned, and for each of those courses, you're working on a single project throughout. So we are actually working on redesigning a fictional health and fitness app that's supplied by an insurance company to motivate people to stay healthy and to stay fit and get rewards. And we create quite a complex scenario where you start out with feedback that you've already gotten from an MVP, and you've got to go and do further research and do some redesigns and submit back to the business new work to be sent into code and developed and go live. And the methods that we teach are on that process basically align with the typical product design process. So in course 1, you've got your scenario for the first time and you have some initial feedback and a problem to fix, but you've done no research. So we focus a lot on the discovery research and user research in stage 1. You could say a lot of that aligns to what a UX researcher might be doing or what a product designer would be doing in the early stages of design. So in course 1, you're really trying to figure out what the problem is. You're going to be doing things like interviews. You're going to be designing journey maps. You're going to be doing research synthesis to come up with the right problem to focus on. And then in course 2, you move on to coming up with your ideas, your solutions, and then translating that into a mid-fidelity wireframe. So you'll be doing user flows, mid-fidelity wireframes. We teach a ton on design principles to help you not just of course, we teach you the tool Figma, which is the main tool we use to design your wireframes and your high fidelity designs, but we support that quite heavily with in-depth details on design principles and design patterns to get you started, which is, I think, crucial not just for beginners, but for people advancing to really understand those core design principles. And then in course 3, you take your mid-fidelity wireframes and you produce that high fidelity, the UI design, that picture perfect looking design you see at the end of your apps. You produce that and you submit that as your final project before jumping into the employer project, which I won't dive in too deeply again, as you mentioned it before, but we are looking at doing it with Sky this year. It changes every year. We've done it with a hospital's health booking system before. That's been very cool. The Sky one is interesting because it's going to touch on voice design and the interaction of different interfaces within someone's room and how that can support accessibility. So you'll not just be looking at apps and websites, but like the TV, voice is quite cool and relevant, especially since voice and chatbots are being so driven by this AI revolution. So there's quite an exciting mix of content that we teach, and it's all supported by weekly live sessions with industry experts like myself and other people in the field who go through real life work examples of the project that you're doing. Like we actually show research we did or designs we did along the way. So yeah, it's quite comprehensive. And hopefully that gives a good summary of what you learn.
It certainly does. And just a reminder for anyone if any of what the panel are mentioning raises a question, pop it in the Q&A. And thank you for everyone that informed us of your intent to advance your existing career. Well, the majority are changing, and that's probably reflective of our student demographic. There's really not too many career starters, given the entry criterion that it is aimed at postgraduate level. But yeah, a lot of career changes and career advances. In terms of getting the personal support that we've put up there as a second tile, Elizabeth, can you elaborate a bit on the coaching function and how it sets up learners for success?
Yeah, so throughout the program, within the beginning, when you first join, you're assigned to a career coach. And like I said, I'm one of a few. There's a team of us in the background, and we work with you one-on-one. So there's no kind of cookie cutter of you have to go to this session and it's all the same and everyone together. We very much meet you at where you're at in your journey. And we work with you around what you're struggling with and what you need support with. Yes, there's certain things within, changing a career that are relatively standard in terms of, understanding your transferable skills, how to reframe your experience to appeal to a UX, UI product design kind of role. How do you now write about that on your CV, or how do you share that on your LinkedIn? But you'll all be at different stages of knowing how to do that. You'll have different fears around that as well. So your career coach meets you where you are and works through that all with you on a one-on-one personal level to ensure that you have all the confidence you need to start applying for jobs, going to interviews and be successful with that. And also, I noted in the chat as well that most of you are career changers, and there's only a very few percentage of roles that actually need portfolios, right? So I'm imagining for some of you on this session, you've never had to create a portfolio before to be able to apply for a job. And we're here to help and support you with that as well, along with your course facilitators also. So it's all very much around what support do you need and how do we ensure you're coupling your academic with actually getting that career outcome you want. You're signing up for this course because you want to change something in your work life. And as career coaches, we're here to hold your hand step by step through that change to get you to where you want to be.
How good's that? In addition to the 6-month career coaching during the program, we'll discuss also the offer of extending that for those not only in attendance, but for those registering before the deadline as well, which is most exciting for everyone. Emma, what was your experience of the curriculum and course design? Any highlights you'd like to share?
Yeah, so there's 3 things I would like to highlight. One of them was expert-led instruction. So I felt as though I benefited from the guidance of experienced UX design professionals, but also career advice as well, and success managers. I just felt so looked after. If I had any queries, concerns, I always found someone to go to, whether it be kind of wanting insight, feedback, or any sort of mentorship, there's always someone to go to. Second one was career support. So I think for me, I transitioned from fashion design. So I was in a fashion design industry, changing into UX design. There was a lot of transferable skills, but I didn't know which were relevant. So having career support really helped me identify that, how to tailor my LinkedIn to look more, I guess, UX design forward, and how can I make my past experiences still look appetizing towards the industry in UX or UI. The third one is collaborative learning environment. So, you may be an independent learner, and there are projects that are catered towards individuals, but then there's also collaborative projects where you actually get to learn with your course mates and get to know them a bit more, and also identify what your strengths and weaknesses are. So that was probably the 3 that really stood out for me.
Fantastic, thank you. And let's dive a little deeper if we can before we get to audience questions and that shortly. And I've got some other questions for Elizabeth and Justin as well. But it is a commitment, Emma. It is a sacrifice along the way, 15 hours or so per week. Some weeks you do more, some weeks you might do a little bit less over a 6-month period. Can you give us an idea of any challenges you faced or what your process was when considering the program even?
So yeah, so like I said, I was in fashion design before, and I had a 9 to 5 job, and I really was struggling to find somewhere which could offer that flexibility, because there were some courses that were in person, and there were also ones that did hybrid of online and in person. So I really needed to find a course that was online, but also flexible as well, where if I couldn't make a session, there would also be a recording at the end. I reserved most evenings for that. So it was really good that the course and I met in the middle, and it really benefited me as well because I just couldn't make sessions in the daytime. Um, yeah, and I guess it was also trying to find a way where I could work out how this will fit into my work-life balance. There's only so many hours in the day, so yeah, the flexible online format was really something that made it easier for me.
And are you happy to share your journey regarding the role that you're in now, and I guess even how the coaching or how you reflected in your interviews with what you'd learnt in the program?
Yeah, so um, now that I have a job in UX, it really made me think that, okay, what I learned in the course was very relevant to what I'm doing now. Um, Even much more so that it's been, I think, 3, 4 months that I've been in this role. There's still loads of things I actually kind of pick up from the course that I still use in day to day. So the relevance is very much there. It's not like you learn something and it's completely different in real life. It's very much the same. Um, and it's also the industry project really helped in a way of building that connection between what you're learning and also real life situations. So that transition from doing the industry project to having a real life job within the industry was such a great transition, and it wasn't scary, or I didn't feel left out, or I didn't feel like I didn't know something, because it was almost like the industry project helped me a lot to figure that out.
Brilliant. And are you happy to share your employer and role that you've obtained?
Yes, yes. So I'm a UX designer for EasyJet, and I work for the Crow department. So we do a lot of A/B testing, a lot of experimentations, but it also allows me to think outside the box a bit, think about how we can innovate certain web pages, or, for example, how can we make the seat map page look better? How can we increase user retention? How do we make people come back to us? And I think all of these things is a lot of problem solving that is involved. And even though I did a lot of that in fashion, it was quite different when you turned it into UX, because I guess your consumer is different, and also the way you would designs are slightly different as well. So yeah, so there's a lot of transferable skills, but I also learned a lot in the course to take me to where I am now.
We're so proud of you and the outcome that you've obtained. Congratulations once again. Elizabeth and Justin, I guess from your perspective to it, it aligns with our North Star as a business, which is career outcomes. But how does it make you feel knowing that you've contributed significantly to stories such as that, or are there any others you'd like to share?
For me, like you said, it's our North Star as career coaches. It's why we're all here in the business, to really align that kind of career outcome with the academic foundation. And it's absolutely amazing to hear almost on a weekly basis these wonderful outcomes that come to us, and knowing that we had a hand in that journey. As career coaches, we're not the ones doing all the work. It's our learners like Emma that have to go away and put in the hard yards and the effort, and step outside of their comfort zones. But it's amazing to be part of that journey and see the outcome and see how well our alumni are doing, 3 months, 6 months, a year down the line, and how their careers are progressing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, for me, it's obviously special because Emma was on my program, and it's we all know with work life that it can, really dictate your happiness level. I'm not specifically referring to like Emma's situation or anything, but it's very special to change that for people, to allow them to do something that they feel they want to do, and to get out of, if they might be stuck in a rut. So that's very special. I think from a selfish perspective, because I led the design of the course material. We worked with several designers and experts, so obviously it wasn't just me. Tons of people were involved, actually, in double digits from experts, actually. So it's a little bit of weight off my shoulder to hear the course is like, you know, still relevant and like makes people feel comfortable when they get into the job. It you know, makes me feel like proud, and our team at Fourth Rev can feel proud and accomplished for that. But yeah, there's all kinds of like really great stories that are coming in regularly. One of our projects, I can't remember if we had updated the course after you did it, Emma, but we have we do like another case study now right before the industry project on like your app or website of your choice. And someone did it on a popular dating app, and the dating app company contacted them wanting to hire them for work because of the analysis and work that they did on that app. So like stories like that are pretty fascinating. And just like seeing the people changing from very different careers as well. Yeah, it's all very exciting. I think like in Emma, in your case particularly, I think what some people forget when they join the course, because there is so much content that we have, they get wrapped up in the reading and the assignments, and they forget the importance of focusing on that the career side, where not just like developing your skills, but like getting your CV ready, your portfolio ready, interviewing, practicing interviewing. It's clear that you made that a priority in the program. So glad to see it's panned out.
Brilliant. Thanks, Justin. Thanks, Elizabeth. And never has it been more apt or relevant to put a heart emoji up when they're discussing the dating app. I'd like to also offer the audience, as considering that many are looking to change careers into UX UI, and there's a number of career advances as well. But let's get some insights and advice from the panel regarding voices from the field or strategies and implementations in which to possibly achieve the intended outcome. On this slide, I'll start with the 3 questions there, I guess. What advice do you have for someone pursuing a career in UX and UI product design? I might start with anyone. Who would like to answer that one first?
I can.
Go, Emma. Thank you.
My advice would be to not be afraid of putting yourself out there. I think for me, like back then, I thought, oh my gosh, I'm starting from scratch. You know, my previous experiences won't have anything to, I guess, there's no value in my previous experiences, is what I really thought. Hence why I'm kind of stressing on the career support here, and why the projects that Justin helped contribute to really has helped this journey, because I've now have this this material that I can then promote myself. I can focus on branding. How am I going to market myself on LinkedIn, or how do I set up my website? So all these baby steps have really contributed to the bigger picture of this journey of going for this change and going for a different career. And it's also doing a bit of research yourself, going out for UX talks. There's not sure where everyone's from, but in London there's quite a few for free even that you can go and join, and then just experience what it's like for people day to day as a UX designer, as well as network with the audience, because they're probably already in a similar situation as you as well. On YouTube, there's a lot of vlogs of UX designers or UX researchers who just film their day-to-day lives. And I think if it's something you would like to do after watching, then definitely pursue and see how you can really get there through building your LinkedIn, building your portfolio, checking out your CV. Is it really correct or relevant? So yeah, utilize resources for sure, and not be afraid.
Good on you. And that's key. Look, a career change is a huge step. Elizabeth will be a testament to that more so than I can be, but it is a life decision, and it's one that education goes hand in hand with making successful. Any other tips, Elizabeth, especially, I guess, on pursuing that career change?
Yeah, so I am a career changer myself, and you'll probably find most of us as career coaches are. It's not where we started out. I don't think many people know in the early stages that there's such thing as a career coach. And I'm just going to really echo what Emma says. If you are looking to change your career, taking that step back, analyzing or understanding the skills you already have, they are valuable. You are not starting from zero. You have had employment before, or you're currently in employment, but you want to change up what you're doing from day to day. But understanding what you're currently doing and how that flows into UX, UI, and product design. And there will be so much overlap. You might need to use slightly different language, and you'll learn that through this course. But you will already be doing stuff today in the work that you do that can transition into UX, UI, and product design. So it's about uncovering that stuff and understanding how to reframe it and re-talk about it. And I'm not stress enough. Network, get to know people. The UX UI community is absolutely beautiful. People genuinely want to help each other. They talk to each other, they collaborate, even if they don't work in the same businesses. There is a real nice community within this area, and people will genuinely help and support you and spend 20 minutes with you talking about their journey and what they've done. And it's how you get to understand what roles are out there and what is a day-to-day life of a UX designer. But if you are thinking of doing this course and career changing, it also helps you build your network, right? If you're starting to be in a room full of designers, that's going to help you when you get to that point when you want to start applying for jobs as well.
Exactly. Before I just dive deeper into the benefit and the structure of portfolio, though, Justin, I'm sure you've got something to add there too.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to talk a lot about networking and don't be afraid to reach out to second or third contacts that are product designers to get insight. It also, you're developing a connection, so for further job search. So I think that's very important. I was going to say a lot of the same stuff, but there's also the practical element, I think, of starting to learn the basics of, once you know you want to change, is like, you need to start learning the basics of design, and the basic tool, which is Figma, on like doing that design. So I would, get started learning those things. And of course, you can do some of this stuff. You can do it on your own. You can do all of it on your own if you really wanted to, but it's a lot of legwork, and you're not going to have the support of industry experts or career coaches. I think having a course like this helps do some, it's not going to do the work for you, but it does help do it in that sense. And more importantly, the course is going to demonstrate to your future employer that you are committed. You've put time and money into this program. And when an employer sees that, they value that massively over a career changer who doesn't have that, because they have no idea how committed that other person really is. Are they that serious about changing career, or is this just an interest? So learning those basics and using a course of some sort, we think ours is the best, is a great way to go.
Brilliant, thank you. We've got heaps of questions coming through, and it is my intent to get to all of them. I'm going to ask two more important things, though. One is relating to AI, and the first one is about the development of, and the importance of the development of a portfolio. Elizabeth touched on it sooner. Not every role needs a portfolio, but UX, UI design, product design certainly does, and employers do expect it. But any top tips? I'll start with Emma on building your portfolio and the benefit of doing so during the course.
Yeah, so portfolios weren't new to me just because I was in fashion, but it was the content that was a lot different, as well as how you would story tell and how you would market, I guess, your product, or how you would kind of convey it in the end. I think if you know what industry you want to kind of be in, like, for example, in finance or the health and wellness sector, then you can easily tailor your portfolio towards those sectors, by, I don't know, having an app or website that's more catered towards that. But like me, I didn't really know what I wanted to specialize in, especially when I was in the course as well. And even afterwards, still didn't really know where I wanted to be. In that case, diversify your projects. So really involve a lot more industries. I think I did one in fitness, and then one in finance, and really trying to see where I wanted to go. But it was mainly just trying to put yourself out there and show people that, okay, yes, I know what's in this sector, what's in this industry. I know that there's apps that need to cater towards these type of customers, and really try and personalize it in a way that makes you stand out through storytelling, through a problem that you've noticed yourself, and really try to build on that. But yeah, it's really trying to get to know the industry, as well as also just identifying problems that you faced yourself and making a story out of it. But yeah, there's lots of resources and lots of portfolio examples out there to get you started if you kind of feel a bit lost or not inspired in any way. But yeah, definitely start with a problem and build from there.
That's great advice. And also enabling your personality to shine through in that storytelling process, I think is valid and important. We hosted a webinar recently with another learner who demonstrated his outcome as launching his own business, and his portfolio was around game design, and it was quite interesting to have a look. We might drop the link into that one as well. Anything to add there, Justin, before I move on to AI?
Yeah, I think it can sometimes seem a bit overwhelming, the portfolio. So when you really strip it down, it's just 3 to 5 case studies that you need on there. As you get more experienced, and maybe you've worked in different areas like myself in research design, UX design, service design, you might have, 3 or 5 per area. It starts to get big, but you really only need 3 to 5 case studies for your portfolio. So keep it simple. Make sure it's scannable so you can have the detail in there. But to be honest, when I was hiring, you're looking at this portfolio in like 3 to 5 minutes initially to decide whether you're going to interview that person and go into it. Then in the interview, you're going to go into it deeper. So like, make sure you can pick up the key output or the key process. It should be scannable, like newspaper headlines almost. And then of course, like the biggest thing is to show the process and demonstrate that you have design skills and are applying typical design process. It should be clear that you're iterating based on feedback from users. Yeah, and then I guess the last thing I'll say is to test your portfolio, show it in front of people that know what portfolios look like. That can be, if you're on the course, that could be the career coach or the facilitator. But if you have a group that you're part of, a LinkedIn or a mentor, that can be useful. And as far as projects go, the course will give you plenty, but if you don't have any, start with apps that frustrate you. You could have a personal project. There's great websites for design challenges. In fact, I recommend you all go to Daily UI if you're interested in design. They do a challenge every day, and you can just see what it's like to be a product designer with not a lot of commitment. But Dribble has weekly challenges. There's other stuff. And then the last opportunity, once you develop some skills, is to offer work to like third sector, like charities and other organizations who would be willing to take you on.
That's excellent. Last one for me, and we've got so many questions. We're going to be brief, but we shouldn't be because it is so important. But the AI inclusions in the Career Accelerator are key as well. We made a decision to implement a number of AI initiatives within the program to ensure that it's kept up to date to the minute, basically. And we do that through a series of live masterclass sessions that enable learners to hear from amazing industry experts about the impact of AI and leveraging AI inclusions and opportunities within UX UI product design. Was that already launched when you were studying, Emma?
No, it wasn't, I don't think.
No, yeah. Emma was the very,
year?
very first cohort.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
We
Justin,
almost-
have you got anything to add regarding the AI inclusions, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, so in the course we have we talk about AI where it's relevant, particularly around tooling. So where it can be used for research, how it could support design. We try to be a little bit tool agnostic and have it be more supported by live sessions, especially since the the pace of change is happening so rapidly with AI. So facilitators, when they hold their weekly sessions, they give insight into how they might use AI to support, like, for example, Figma AI now, I'm sure, Emma, that you all are touring with it at work, can show you how to toy with things like auto layout or suggestive copy. And then we are looking to host a series of masterclasses that will be happening this spring. So people that join this cohort would be viewing them, and that will bring an expert in AI within the product design field to go through the latest topics. But it's obviously being used a lot in the field now, as it is across a lot of other industries, particularly as a supportive role. You can use it to do first drafts for research reports. You can have it, if you're creating research questions, you can have it scan for bias to make sure you're not asking biased questions. So, if you can't remember everything, you can have it doing, you can do first drafts of user flows. Even now you generate like wireframes and some rapid prototyping designs. Yeah, there's a lot to do, but I think the biggest thing is it's improving the throughput, like the speed of production that's happening. So it's allowing you to create first drafts quicker, check work quicker, improve user research, although it's been used in testing tools for quite some time now. But it does help with research synthesis and stuff like that. But yeah, there will be some very exciting masterclasses upcoming through this spring and summer.
They've been so well received, and they are so important that they are live, because it means they're up to the minute relevant, rather than change content 6 months ago that's probably outdated already. So that's the strategy we've taken there. I'm going to get to some audience questions, and apology it's taken me this long, but I think the purpose of this is to hear from the panel as well as answer the audience questions for the betterment of their decision. I'll whip through a couple of them and get more in depth with some of them. 3 to 4 intakes a year. Generally, February, it'll be May and October. Maria, thank you for your input, Maria. How flexible are the sessions? I.e., do you have to attend each one live? In general, no, although always best to do so when you can. Emma already mentioned that she watched recordings often of an evening and things like that, but if you can attend live, you can ask questions that are relevant to exactly what you're working on at that point in time, and your example that you're using, for example. But the benefit is also there that you can catch them up when and is best for you. I'm going to ask Elizabeth to answer this one, if it's okay. What is the guarantee of securing a higher paying job? I might reframe that, Francesca. Thank you for your question. Don't know your wage currently, but what the guarantee is, I'll get Elizabeth to speak with, because it's more along a guarantee of empowering you.
Yeah, so we enable you to have all of the skills you need from a job search perspective, and we will support you with that. We will give you strategies and tips, and we will help you. Like we heard from Emma, like she put in a huge amount of effort into securing her new role and transitioning her career out of fashion design into UX UI design. And that is part of the journey. The academics are amazing, and they're going to give you this really solid foundation and the skills you need to be able to go and do a UX UI or product design job. But to actually do that career transition, you have step-by-step support, you have your hand held, but you need to do the work. We can help you reframe your CV. We can tell you that you need to go and network. We can give you suggestions of where to go and do that. But if you're not doing it, that's where, as coaches, we'll start holding you a bit more accountable. But we will help you with every step that needs to happen. But you need to put that effort in that Emma's put it in to get you to where you want to go. But you get all of the support behind you. We are your biggest cheerleaders that will support you and help you with any blocks that come up your way that stop you from doing something. If it's a lack of confidence, we'll sit there and we'll work through that with you. If you don't know how to introduce yourself at a networking event, we'll help you work through how you're going to go and do that and how you're going to go and make an impact. And like Daniel said, we don't know what your current salary is. there are average salaries within UX UI, and obviously with the more experience you have within that field, you will go up that salary range. And also potentially the more transferable skills you have, depending on what you're doing now, will change the entry level into that UX UI field.
Excellent. And you're exactly right. There was a question also regarding the time commitment. That's completely up to you, Francesca, in the sense that you could, if you're working long hours during the day, you could block out weekends and actually complete the program with weekends, but obviously still engaging in the sessions and so forth. Jess has a question for Emma. Thanks, Jess. Why did you decide to change to UI, and why did you choose this course?
So I wanted to change into UX UI because I wasn't tied to fashion, and the fashion industry is always changing and not for the best. So I kind of was like, yeah, maybe it's my time to move, and I found this course mainly because it's from a reputable university, and it's a university that's near me, and it just was like, oh, maybe I'll give it a go, because I also had friends and family who've been to this uni. So I just felt, okay, I feel a bit more reassured that it isn't just a boot camp online that's from the middle of nowhere. You know, I just felt a bit more secure knowing that it's from a university that I know of personally. But going back to changing and switching, it was, yeah, mainly because I wasn't tied to fashion itself, and I also wanted a job that was more digital, so that potentially further down the line I could go fully remote and do a bit more traveling. And it did change the way I see my future in a way, and I just thought that this was probably the time to do it.
Good on you. A couple more questions coming your way, Emma, as expected. I might condense these two. How easy or hard was it for you to get a job, and how are you finding UX design now that you've completed the course? Is it everything that you hoped it to be? Did you apply for numerous roles? How was that process?
Yes, so I applied to a lot of roles near the end of the course, to almost 3 months after I finished as well. It was very hardcore, and mind you, I was still working as well, so I was reserving a lot of time afterwards. Now that I finished the course, to then apply for jobs, and through that I actually gained a mentor, only purely from just connecting with so many people on LinkedIn, and really trying to hone in on what industry are they working for, and also like how can they help me. And I thought, because I worked in fashion, that I would want to naturally work in e-commerce. So for example, like Adidas, or like some sort of company, like clothing brand. But after speaking to them, I realized, oh, maybe I should take a different route and maybe explore something outside of the box. And since it is a new career for me, might as well kind of change the space a bit and go for something else. So applying for EasyJet was probably the 60th job application, and not saying that there were rejections. I think it was also getting to know the interview process through the other jobs that I applied as well. So there's a lot of hard work, a lot of time spent on it, but after a while it does get easier and doesn't become as scary. And to not be scared of the job process. Yeah, the interview process are different depending on each company as well. So you're really trying to learn, how to really, I guess, personalize your CV, or sometimes you have to write a cover letter, and sometimes you may need to change up your portfolio a little bit just to accommodate for some jobs and stuff. So it was quite a lot of time spent on it, but worthwhile. Now that I'm at EasyJet, it is everything that I expected.
Good.
Yeah, mainly because the job spec itself was just how it is right now. So there's a lot of design work, a lot of projects going on. And I also have a lot more autonomy as well, which is great, because now that I'm really just learning for myself, and I don't have to, I think before in fashion, I was relying on a lot of people. So now that changing to UX, and And being in a team that's a lot smaller, it's really allowed me to kind of work by myself and figure things out myself and do things in my own time. So yeah, the Agile framework has really been working for me.
Love it. Got another couple coming through. Thank you to everyone as well. Sam, I might just get you to change to the next slide, I think it was. Maria, thank you, Maria. Again, this is for Emma. Apologies, Elizabeth and Justin, but I'm sure I'll create one if we don't in a moment. Maria's asked, is there anything that wasn't included in the course that you wish there was? That's a great question.
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
Yeah, was there anything that wasn't included in the Career Accelerator that you wish there was?
I was going to say about not UI, sorry, AI actually, because that is something I'm using at work that probably wasn't in the course, but now that it's in the course, yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Great question, fair answer, but great question. It's good to think that way.
Yeah.
Sharon's asked, apologies being mentioned before, but wanted to ask at the course level, do I need core knowledge before enrolling? I'm a CX designer, but would like to upskill. I think you're fine. Does anyone else want to contribute to that? I think you've got a great grounding
yeah.
in basis in which to make that change. Justin.
Yeah, it's a great career to transition from. It's like not an uncommon one. I've directly hired people from CX design teams onto my teams as designers or researchers. You don't need to have any core knowledge before starting the course, but you will have a one-up by the knowledge that you have for being a CX designer, especially in course 1, which is about the discovery work. You will have done a lot of that type of research and journey mapping, but now maybe with just a new lens as a product designer.
Good on you, Sharon. If you haven't already, though, can you please book a time with your enrolment advisor, and Sam will pop something in the chat now. I think it's critical that you speak with them to help them guide you as to what is best as well. Someone's asked, do we find that people doing this course for a career change also do other courses to complement this one, or is this course usually sufficient to make the move? I might direct that to you, Elizabeth. How you knew it was coming in.
The course is sufficient. You're gonna have the knowledge that you need from this course to transition into UX, UI, or product design. I have yet to work with a learner who is doing multiple courses alongside this one. This one is very comprehensive. We work with industry to design it. So you have the foundations that the industry want, and then obviously coupled with your career coaching to help you understand how to transfer all of that and talk about that and how to frame that on LinkedIn, CVs, in your portfolios, in interviews. So yeah, in short, you will get everything you need from this program.
Excellent, excellent. Got another couple, and I'm conscious of time, and I've got some things to round off on as well. I'm going to go, how long has the course been running for? We launched in 2023, and I think this is the 7th or 8th cohort to go through for that one. Jonathan's got a question, and I'll ask Justin. Will the live seminars and other presented course content generally be running in the evenings? Like most, I work throughout the day, so would need to focus this in the evenings.
So currently we run one session in the evening and one session midday, and then we have a drop-in around lunchtime. Then we do a drop-in Q&A around lunchtime. But the amount of sessions that we run changes depending on the number of people enrolled, you know, whether we need to meet greater demand so you get the right time, enough time, good ratio with your facilitator. But yeah, the sessions are one in the evening and one midday are the main sessions. And but they are all recorded, and it is worth noting we have a social platform called Circle that our learners use, where you can ask questions and facilitators respond within X hours, and success managers respond within a time frame as well. So you have other channels to get feedback on work as well as opportunities to book one-to-ones. So you could watch all the recordings and then use a one-to-one to ask some questions if you couldn't make some of those daytime ones.
Which is brilliant. I'm running out of time. I've got two quick ones. is this just focused on digital apps, website, or is there a scope to expand into physical product design? It is more designed for the digital. Some of the principles align, but this certainly focuses on the digital. Eric has asked, how many students are actually managed to get a job after the course? Eric, very proudly, of those that we are able to track through our North Star metric being career outcomes, 87.5% of our Career Accelerator learners obtain their intended outcome within 6 months of completing the Career Accelerator. However, that doesn't necessarily equate to we've surveyed 100% of our learners either, because some aren't looking for a career outcome. Many who are looking to advance their existing roles, for example, or careers, are looking to add this suite of skills to their existing roles as well. So we're really proud of our learners' career outcomes and achievements, but we don't actually stop ever working out ways in which we can further support you. And that's a great segue into the next slide, which is unlock a year of career coaching for 2025. So if you do register by this Friday, which is a really, really special day, to be honest, because it's my birthday, you'll unlock additional 6 months of career coaching. That is something that we can do and offer, as I've just said, in our pursuit of enabling more career outcomes that you're seeking as a valued learner of ours and alumni when you complete. So if you let your enrolment advisor know that you're interested and apply, the application process is literally 5 minutes. Before Friday, you'll access that extended career coaching for an additional 6 months post-program, which is brilliant for all sorts of things, but further refining your brand and portfolio, as it mentions there, preparing for pivotal career moments such as interviews and achieving sustainable career growth along the way as well. So it is decision time. It is, just to let everyone know on the last slide there as well, Sam, applications close next Monday for the first cohort of this year. If you haven't already, do book a time with your enrolment advisor. They're going to guide you through your decision-making process, or get in touch with us. So the best thing that you can do is apply now, and then even book the time with your enrolment advisor, or book the time with your enrolment advisor and apply before Friday to get that extended 6 months of coaching. And when you think about, obtaining an additional 6 months of coaching with someone of the caliber of Elizabeth, it's a very valuable proposition that's included in the program fees. Without further ado, it gives me not only great pleasure to say thank you, Emma, Elizabeth, and Justin, but also to the audience. Thank you for so many of you contributing so much through your questions, through your input, through your emojis, and just by being here, as I said earlier, you've taken a great step forward in what may be a very, very positive, life-changing experience for you to change your career or advance your career. Elizabeth, Emma, Justin, thank you. Your input was amazing. I'm sure all of the attendees, like myself, have learnt a lot from you today.
Thank you. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For everyone else, thank you. Once again, as I said, it is time to make a decision. It is time to consult those around you that may be impacted by your decision. And what I mean by impacted, it might be that you've got family that need to consider that you're committing 6 months to the betterment of your career and the family. It may be your social network that you may have to say, look, not going to be as readily available for Friday drinks as I once was, because over the next 6 months I'm investing in myself in other ways, but I look forward to catching up soon. Those sorts of things are important, but also it's reflecting on your attendance today, on the information that you've received, and the process that you need to undertake now to make that next step and commit to yourself in kicking off 2025 in a fabulous way. I always end their webinars with a line, but I don't say it just as a line. I say it because we genuinely mean it, but we do look forward to welcoming you, supporting you, but most of all, celebrating your success as a valued learner and alumni, as we've done with Emma today. Thank you all once again, and have a great day. I look forward to seeing your application come through, or your appointment with your enrolment advisor. Cheerio.